a tag team match set for one fall.
This is going to be an exciting tag team match.
Making her
All right, people. Good afternoon. Hope everybody's having a beautiful day. So I want to talk to you guys about Jade Cargil. Now, I want you guys to think about some things. I brought this up in a previous video because Jade Cargil was facing a lot of backlash based on, some botches and things that went wrong for them in their tag team title, defense with Shayna Baszler and her partner. Can't remember her name. Okay, irrelevant. So basically, listen. I was talking to some people today. They were asking me about the Jade Cargil situation. Like, what do I think? So, what do you mean? Like, what do you think about me? What do you mean? What do I think about it? Like people are saying like she's green and she's not ready and all this other shit. Look, and the guy was telling me about a channel he was listening to and just saying like different people were saying things about how they need to like rebuild her and the storyline to put her in everything. And let me just go into my response to him, but I'm gonna give it to you guys. You see, people overlook the reason why something happened in the first place. Okay, it's like going into a relationship with someone, right? You live in a religious family and they tell you things like, oh, you shouldn't have sex until you're married. Well, people get married real fast. Sometimes they'll go to the courthouse and have, get married, have the wedding. So they don't have to wait a long time. Then years later, they may have the reception where, okay, now, so they invite the family, friends, whatever. You got married to this person before you got to know each other. You got married to this person before you really understood, is this the person that I really want to be with for the rest of my life, okay? One of the things that I've heard is that the WWE didn't know how green she was. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. What people are not paying attention to, okay? Wrestling is a chess move, especially when it comes to a rival company. Now, if the WWE felt threatened by TNA, they wouldn't be doing business with them. Okay? Sometimes things change, people change with situations, and then a company might as well they might wind up doing something that the company is not known for doing. Okay? Jade Cargil to the WWE, okay, was initially, now not saying that they don't see potential in her, but initially, okay, that whole move to the WWE, first off, it's her choice. It's not like they forced her on anything, but why do you think they went after someone so green? You think that here's the WWE, have the Performance Center. We don't need anybody from any company because we can take anybody and train them and make them a star. We know how to do that. So why do they need Jade Cargil, right? Well, initially, regardless of what other reasons they may have had, and like I said, I'm not saying they don't see potential in Jade. Jade is a good performer, but you have to put Jade in the right situations and the right type of matches. And basically, it was a power move. This is one of AEW's top stars. Well, AEW knew how to book her properly. Even in some of the matches she had, you saw like botch moves often. Okay, you don't think that Shawn Michaels and all these other people saw her and realized that? You don't think that they saw that? So when they're saying things like, I'm hearing that people were saying things like they could take her and use a storyline to say, oh, like Bianca gets mad because we lost because of her. She's too green. She's not ready. And then Bianca turns bad, turns heel. She attacks Jade. Jade disappears for a while. Then when she comes back, she topples Bianca. Okay, wait a minute. First of all, people make it sound like it's the same as just reading, your ABCs. First off, we don't know how long it's going to take Jade to develop to the point where she is on top of her game. Okay, we don't know that. So to say that now it's a suggestion. I get it, but you don't have to turn Bianca heel just to do that, and that would be the main purpose. Let's turn her heel for the sole purpose of bringing back Jade Cargil, and we're going to bring her back in a way where she's going to wind up finally getting her revenge on Bianca, and she's going to tear through everybody else and finally get showcased the way it was meant to be. Okay, it all sounds good, but you got to understand how the business works. They recycle who they want. Okay, yeah, recycle who they want. Okay, they wanted to take her away from AEW. Now, let's just say, for example, they pull her and not so much pull her off TV, but it's like they slow her down. They change her role. What does it do for her? It immediately lets people see Jade isn't ready. Do you understand what I'm saying? She's not ready for what they're trying to do with her. You see, this is what I'm saying. Jade didn't get this kind of praise and anticipation for her to come because she's shit in the ring. No. Right? Once again, AEW knew how to book her. Okay. What the WWE did with trying to get her on their roster, okay? Once we get her here, we'll fix whatever. Like I said, we have the Performance Center. I even heard that people, saying things like they should have brought her to NXT. No. See, you do not build up someone the way you built up Jade Cargil and then bring her to NXT. Nobody's stupid. We all know that NXT is the developmental league of the WWE. We know that. So don't be fooled because they have some wrestlers there that have defeated Becky Lynch or, defeated a Sheamus or something. No. So what? Let's not forget, one Survivor Series, NXT had a complete clean sweep. But look at their positioning where they are. They're not as big as Raw, SmackDown. No. So to build her up that way, like when I told you guys, you're not going to see Jordynne Grace beating any top-level wrestlers on Raw or SmackDown unless or until she signs a contract with the WWE and she's solely with the WWE. Plus, if that was to happen, you got to understand something too. Then the fans already know who she is. So coming from NXT and then leaving TNA to come to SmackDown or Raw, they already know who Jordynne is. And it's already huge anticipation. Now, the difference, if you look at Jordynne is more seasoned and more complete than Jade is. Okay, in terms of adapting to different styles. Jade has to be put in the right situations. Okay, the WWE did the same shit with Goldberg. They did the same shit with Lex Luger. Okay, Hulk Hogan was in that mode forever. And basically, like if you look at Hulk Hogan's career, right? You didn't see Hulk Hogan wrestling people like Bret Hart, Bob Backlund, like real technical guys. He was fighting the King Kong Bundys of the world. Okay, he was fighting the John Studds, the Dr. D. David Schultz, the Killer Khans, the Andre the Giants. He was fighting, the Paul Orndorff, guys that wasn't technical wrestlers. So he was put in a position where he can take a pound and then he hulks up, he comes back and he wins. So his character, just like Stone Cold's character, is what carried them. Stone Cold didn't have a big move selection either. If you watch him when he was stunning Steve Austin, when he was over there with the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman, when he was in WCW, Stone Cold actually does know how to wrestle. But his character, the putting up the middle fingers, the wild, all of the, the animated movements that he does, talking his trash. So his character is an ass kicker. So no, we don't care about if he's doing knee bars and leg locks and ankle locks and all that. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's what his character does. You can't see, this is what they thought. We'll put her and team up with Jade. This is what I said from day one. They're not going to bring Jade Cargil over there and have her just come and do it and run through people. No. What they're going to do is probably have her a part of, I didn't necessarily say like with Bianca, but they're probably going to have her with some kind of like a part of some type of squad or something, some type of team and like a group. And, it'll be the type of thing where they're jumping people, they're doing things. But Jade is in a position where most of what they're doing is pretty much her doing like the damage is being done, but she has a group, just like how she was with the baddies, right? But she has people helping, like doing her dirty work for her, stuff like that, even though she don't need it, right? But because Jade, and it's not, when I look at her saying she's green, it wasn't because she's so green. It's because, see, Jade can perform, but she just can't adjust and adapt to just any style. And that's why I said she don't look comfortable. Look at her face. Look, her whole persona has changed. She's smiling all the time. She do her little muscle flex here and there, but like she doesn't have that same fire in her when she was in AEW. And her attitude also. She was an ass kicker. It doesn't take many moves. You can hit her with 8, 9, 10 moves. All she needs is 2. You understand what I'm saying? And boom, she can get you out of there. And this is what I'm saying. The WWE isn't doing that with her. Okay? That's not what they're doing with her. You have to put her in the right situations. And there's many wrestlers that's like that. You know how many people Kurt Hennig made look good? You know how many people Rick the Marvel Martel made look good? You know how many people get in there and they can actually wrestle, but they are put in a position to make others look better. Do you know how many people we saw dumb their shit down just so Hulk Hogan could win because they wasn't the draw that he was? Look at Kurt Angle. The Rock is not a better wrestler than Kurt Angle. Triple H, none of them. Not Shawn Michaels, none of them. They're not better than him. Stone Cold, he's not better than Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle don't have their popularity. Now he can match Shawn Michaels with popularity. You understand what I mean? But in terms of how people see him, and when you're talking about all these icons and greatest of all time, people don't bring up Kurt Angle. But none of those guys are better wrestlers than Kurt Angle. But he doesn't have that type of drawing power. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end, just like Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho didn't have the same type of popularity as The Rock or Stone Cold. Triple H didn't even have that kind of popularity, okay? And basically, but at the same time, what I'm saying is who the company see as this is the person we want in that seat. So yeah, they've had championship runs. They've been multi-time champions, but at the same time, in terms of making other fighters look good, yeah. That's why when you look at wrestlers and you say, right from here's the crazy part. You do a top 10 of greatest wrestlers. Okay, wrestlers, not entertainers and performers. Okay, wrestlers. How do you not have Kurt Angle up there in the top 5? And this is exactly what I'm saying. This shit is not even a real sport. Okay, you can take, like I said before, Pee Wee Herman, Howard Stern, fucking Stephen Urkel. You can take anybody and make them champion. How the company see you versus what you're able to do as far as putting asses in seats can be two completely different things, and you know this. It's like I said, you could take a rapper. This dude can rap and can do, all kinds of incredible things lyrically, but he can't sell records. He can't go platinum. So you know who they're going to pick? That same guy that y'all saying whack that keep going platinum every album. So with Jade Cargil, come on, man. You got to put her in the right situation. So the fact of the matter is, right, you can't sit here and tell me and make sense that they didn't know how green Jade was. No. They felt like we're going to do something with her. We're going to make her better in the Performance Center. You know, that whole time that Jade Cargil wasn't showing her face on TV in the wrestling ring. Like, example, she gets out the car. She's like half naked. Got the little silver. Remember that little, everything's out and people whistling. Yeah. Listen here, man. We're not rating wrestlers based on sex appeal. We're not rating wrestlers now she has the look and everything. And listen, Jade can go. Don't get it twisted. Jade can go. But she has to be in the right type of matches. You can't just book her or just and look, here's the thing. You wouldn't ask Andre the Giant to go to the top rope and do a drop kick, right? You wouldn't tell him to do a Hurricane Rana. You wouldn't ask him to do a suicide dive. Okay, you look at what a wrestler is comfortable doing. You look at what style can we put together with this person where everything that they're doing is just coming out the way it's supposed to. If you was to really look at at what Jade was doing. Go look at her AEW matches. Look at the excitement in the crowd. Look at how explosive she was. Jade is not the same in the WWE because they made her different. They use her differently. And once again, she does not look as comfortable as she did in AEW. Now, she thought the grass is greener on the other side, just like most people do. Oh, if you go to the WWE, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Look at how many people go to the WWE and then leave the WWE. And because fanboys are going, oh, I think they're making a mistake. Oh, I think they should stay. Okay, what you think and what they think are two different things. And it's their career, right? Just like Jade chose to go over there. But here's the reality. Okay, here's the reality. Jade Cargil is in a position of, we're not trying to cater to her. We need her to step up and be able to do what we need her to do. Y'all gotta remember, it's a job. Now, I'll show you how they rebrand people, right? Just think about it. Do you guys remember when Kane was Isaac Yankem, the fake dentist, way before he was Kane? Remember when he was the fake Diesel? Y'all remember that? Okay. Do you remember before Bray Wyatt became Bray Wyatt, he was Husky Harris? Okay. So if you remember that, they've been doing this with the wrestlers forever. I remember when I used to watch Matt Bourne, and all of a sudden Matt Bourne shows up in the WWE and becomes Doink the Clown. So they take this Wyatt Sick or whatever they call him. I mean, when I saw the guy's face, I'm like, that's Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas. Remember, you gotta believe they took a clown and Bo, because that's all Bo Dallas was. He was a comedy guy. Now all of a sudden they throw a mask on his face. Some time went by. They probably feel like, well, people probably forget about the Bo Lee stuff and Sting dropping him on his head. That was the last time we saw Sting on the WWE. And he dropped Bo Dallas on his head, the Scorpion Death Drop. Okay. They take, how many times have they changed? What's her name? The little short chick. She was a damn superhero. Little blue and yellow outfit on. How many times have she changed her character? Okay? So then the other people, whatever. They keep so here's the thing. Let's take these underachievers, right? Let's find a way to rebuild them. Let's make them stand out. So giving them a spooky gimmick still depends on how they use them. Let's not forget, they did the same thing with Bray Wyatt. When Bray Wyatt came back with the lantern and he speaking in parables and all, they had a gold mine with Bray Wyatt. And what did they do? They screwed him. And people said it's over for Bray Wyatt. All of a sudden, he comes back as the Fiend and it's like, well, damn, this is even better. But now, I don't like all the superpower shit, making light fixtures fall and all this moving stuff with your mind, all this goofy shit. Now, we know he's not really doing that. But, you know, the fact when winning or losing a match comes down to that kind of stuff, and Randy Orton in pain and vomiting, same thing with Papa Shango on Ultimate Warrior, no different, right? And that's why it's funny, because this generation laughed at that Ultimate Warrior Papa Shango shit. Well, why was it not laughed at when it was Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss, right? Now, is Alexa doing this spooky stuff now? No. And what did they do with the Fiend? They buried him. So when he lost to I think it was Goldberg he lost to, and then he lost to Seth Rollins. It was just like, what was the purpose of rebranding him just to put him in there and have him lose? So this Wyatt Sick or Slick or whatever they call themselves, Wyatt, whatever it is, there's no guarantee that this is going to work. You understand? There's no guarantee that it's going to work. But when you put people in a group to try to hide certain things, certain flaws, certain weaknesses, okay, I hear you. But one thing you got to also understand, anytime you come from another promotion, a well-known promotion, it's not the same. Now, if they see improvements in Jade that they like, she can fit into the style that they want her to fit into. And that's what people got to understand. Stop saying, oh, she's green. No, it's not that she's just green. No, it's they're trying to put her in a position she don't need to be in, okay? You don't take Steve Francis and try to make him a power forward. He's too small. Okay, it's just not. It's not for him. Okay, you don't take a fucking center and try to make him a shooting guard. All right, it's you got to play your position. So we'll see what happens with her. But people, like I said, they're overlooking why Jade Cargil was picked in the first place. What? Look, let me show you something. Ethan Page, right? He was over there and in AEW. What was his role in AEW? He was a mid-card guy. Where's Ethan Page right now? NXT. Sean Spears was a mid-card guy. Okay? Where's Sean Spears right now? NXT. When Cowboy James Storm came from TNA, where did they put him? NXT. Samoa Joe, Cowboys, James, they were top guys. Robert Roode, those guys were top guys. But guess what? TNA, okay, wasn't looked at as competition to the WWE. They were looked at as an alternative. Do you understand me? So out of all of those guys, the only one, Eric Young, all of them. Abyss came over in a different role behind the scenes. No, but they took all of those guys, including Samoa Joe, and stuck them on NXT. And the only one that they put on the main show was AJ Styles. And you see the ovation he got when he came out of that Royal Rumble, same thing. They knew him, and it wasn't for no damn New Japan. They knew who he was from TNA. But because they wanted to slight TNA, nah, AJ can't walk in here and win just yet. Let's remember, he came and lost 2 straight to Jericho. You understand what I'm saying? So, bottom line, we got to get that scent of TNA off of him first. And that's how that you see, this is what I'm saying. When you look at how they use a wrestler, right? Now, AJ can go. It had nothing to do with him being green or nothing. No, AJ can go. It's just the fact that, no, he's not homegrown talent. So we can't have him walking in here. He's impressive, but no. And let's not forget, after losing to Jericho, Jericho became a sidekick for Kevin Owens. You just made the list. Okay? The comedy stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Jade going straight to the main roster is what they were supposed to do. They put too much hype behind her to put her in NXT. Now, you put her, if look, we can come up with all the suggestions about what they should do and how they should do it, but it's irrelevant if her improvement, okay, if there's no improvement in her. It's irrelevant. Or if they don't decide, you know what, let's book her the way AEW booked her. And also, we're helping her to develop at the same time. Okay, this is where people don't understand. The intentions was not to bring her there because she was a polished veteran wrestler. No. It was, okay, we see potential there, but let's take her. She's a top player in AEW. You see that ovation that she got. And let me tell you something. People within WWE are always going to try to be cocky and arrogant and act like they're not worried about any other wrestling company being able to do anything. And it's always going to be much harder for any other wrestling company to blow up and then sustain the highest level without some criticism, without seeing a dip in ratings. Because bottom line is, everybody's so used to WWE being around and being the big boys in town. So it doesn't matter if you're putting on 5-star matches. You see the matches they put on AEW. No, like Matt Hardy saying, Tony Khan needs to focus more on having moments instead of having good wrestling matches. And that is completely asshole type shit within wrestling, because that is actually true of how people see wrestling. So AEW's fan base is more about, okay, we want to see wrestling. We don't really care so much about the storyline stuff, the silly stuff. Like, I don't want to see people making light fixtures fall in AEW. I don't even want to see that shit in WWE. I don't want to see voodoo and all this, that stupid shit. But at the same time, you got to understand that WWE is known for that. I said before, AEW got away from its original format. Okay, of wins and losses. You reset every year, but of course, all your matches accumulate in terms of they're keeping account of how many matches you've had in your career in AEW, but the whole win-loss record thing, you know, the tournament style, the Owen Hart clashes, the Continental clashes, like all these different things, it fits their style. You understand what I'm saying? So they got away from those things. That's part of what made AEW feel so different. And on top of that, with the wrestling matches that they had. So I do agree with Matt Hardy that, yeah, they need to create moments. I still don't think they should get away from the wrestling. But yeah, it is about creating moments. They do have moments. They do create their moments. What is he talking about? Storyline type of shit. He's talking about storyline, people doing something that the fans are going to remember, and those moments that have you looking forward to the next show. Well, listen, when your fan base is chanting, "This is wrestling," okay, you know what that means? That's what they want. They don't want AEW to mimic the WWE. WWE fans that watch AEW want them to mimic the WWE. Do you understand that? But AEW got away from what they were initially doing in the beginning. You understand? The first 2 years. Now they got to find a way to get back to that. But they, you know, and don't get me wrong. It's not like they're not doing a good job what they're doing. All the criticism and nonsense. And, you know, it's like I said, I can sit here and pull up how Raw and SmackDown's ratings have not been a 2 point anything. It's 1.7, 1.6. Like, why? That's TNA's peak type ratings. When they were at their peak, that was their ratings. And it was said that, oh, that's low. They can't break 2 million. Neither can Raw or SmackDown. So even when The Rock stood in that ring and said, the ratings are through the roof. No, they're not, Rock. No, because even with your presence, they were still under 2 million. So, you know, this is what I'm telling you. Like, people don't understand. There's people that want to see AEW fade away. That's why every single week you have multiple channels. You can look, do the research. Multiple channels every single week. Oh, AEW takes a huge dip. And they only want to tell you when the ratings slip. And that's why they're not consistent, because let's just say, for example, if this week Dynamite does 900,000 again. Okay, fuck it. Now the following week, they do 600,000. Oh, wow, a huge dip in the ratings on AEW. This is what they do. Yet they're not telling you anything about Raw or SmackDown's ratings. So when their ratings are dipping, shh, don't say anything. We can't expose the WWE's ratings, because, you know. And this is what I'm saying. There's no increase in their ratings. Roman Reigns wasn't in it. I don't care about how much merchandise they sold. I don't care about none of that stuff. I don't care about the arenas and all that, selling out the arenas. Fine. TNA was, look, AEW was selling out arenas and still wasn't getting a million views. Do you understand that? But wrestling has been to a point where, like Mercedes Moné said, I want people to understand and realize that WWE is not the only place to go. You understand what I'm saying? Only a fool would get upset with that. Oh, well, you guys can't even get 2 million views. You can't even get 1 million views. And you can't this and this. If Mercedes Moné returned to the WWE tomorrow, the same people criticizing her would be talking good about her. Wrestling is all about making moves. So yeah, the same way when people are released from the WWE, if Tony Khan has interest in them and they have interest in AEW, guess where they're going to go? And they always do the same thing. They come to AEW and talk about how great of a company AEW is. The atmosphere in the back is more of a family-friendly type place, blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, when they leave on a sour note, they go right back to WWE and do what? What's his name? Andrade Idolo. What the fuck? These weak ass storylines they have him in. What is he doing? Nothing. He's doing nothing. All of these people, when they run back, it's fine that they go back. Listen, what they choose to do is what they choose to do. But when you say things like, oh, that person was in a much better place in the WWE, according to you, let you tell it, right? They go back to the WWE and they're in these weak, childish, stupid storylines. And guess what ends up happening? If they leave, they're going to wind up going where? AAA, you know, maybe, New Japan or something or whatever. You know, and I'm going to tell you the difference too. And I've said this a long time ago. You see the difference in Mexico, in Japan. When you constantly see people go back and forth between those two, the reason is because outside of AEW, outside of the WWE, okay, when they get work over there, it's steady. And the difference is, you see how the NFL and the NBA, even college basketball, like wrestling take a backseat to those sports when they come on? Over in Japan and over there in Mexico, the people over there see wrestling the same way. Like, it's like, no, wrestling is major. So the same way, whatever the top sports are in their country, wrestling is right there with them. Do you understand what I'm saying? As if here, okay, and this is what people understand. I don't care about WrestleMania. I don't care about all this, the grandest show over. I don't care. AEW, whatever it may be. Wrestling is a casual, it's a casual genre compared to real sports. Okay? So it's like when you look and say, oh, well, we look at TNA or AEW like alternatives. No, they're not alternatives. AEW is competition, bro. They're on the main fucking network. TNA is on Access TV, not Access, local Access TV, Access TV. I don't even know people that have Access TV. And that's why the majority of the people that watch TNA, they watch it on YouTube. They get like 70, 80,000 views. That's what, maybe they might get to the 100,000 more, but usually it's 70, 80,000 views, that they get. That's low, man. Their pay-per-views do like 8,000 pay-per-view buys. And so because they have a little partnership right now with the WWE, people are talking like what TNA is on fire now. Like it's the same brand. And I've always supported TNA. I always stood by TNA. But it's the same brand. So understand, even for them to be doing work with them, it's not causing them to grow. So if it does grow gradually, fine, great. I don't want to see TNA fail. But the problem with TNA, if you listen to their commentary, they sound like they work for the WWE. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, WWE's not talking about TNA. The only time they mention TNA is because Jordan Grace is in the ring, like somebody from TNA is there, and they'll, it's the TNA Knockouts champion. But other than that, no. TNA announcers mentioning the WWE is not going to cause more people to start watching their product. You understand what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, you think that the WWE audience is looking for Access TV so they can go and watch TNA? Nope. It's not happening. That's not what's going on. So it's like you sound like you're like, and let me bow to you mode when they're talking about the WWE. And people, like, it's like, okay, we're taking a back seat. We're taking, like, yeah, we're grateful to be on the WWE card. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is, and I don't think Scott D'Amore would have put up with that type of shit. I believe Scott D'Amore would have stood his ground, like, yeah, we can have a partnership, but just for the record, we're not gonna sit here and praise, like, make you like, oh God, we're so grateful. Thank you, WWE, for allowing us to come on your developmental show. Because that's pretty much what they're doing. Now, all that being said, y'all, it doesn't matter where a wrestler go. It doesn't matter where they come from. You don't hear Eric Bischoff talk good about TNA. He never talks about TNA. Somebody has to ask him something about TNA. You don't hear him talking about AAA, New Japan, nothing. If you listen to Eric Bischoff talk, all he does is sucks off Triple H, Vince McMahon, or whatever, and pretty much bash AEW. Remember when he was on a couple of episodes of Dynamite? Remember how he praised Tony Khan in the beginning, especially talking about how they was able to, even through the pandemic, they've still made the product interesting, and how they had the wrestlers outside, and cheering and for who was in the ring and everything. and just everything, the production, all that, how they had the stage set up, everything, the product that they had. And then all of a sudden now, what does he do? He goes into full let me bash them mode. Well, let's just say this, right? Eric Bischoff has a lot of experience. He's been through ups and downs, and he did a really solid job in WCW. And then, things fell apart as well. So they all had their ups and downs, Vince McMahon included. There's all of these guys had their high points and their low points. But let me explain this to you. If you listen to Eric Bischoff talk, he talked about how he didn't want to do Thunder because Nitro alone was like almost too much. Who ran the show with Eric Bischoff? Eric Bischoff talks about what Tony Khan needs to do. Tony Khan needs to let Jericho and other people run things and do this and this and help him out with the, like combine their ideas because he's trying to do this and that. Okay, wait. So the same way a lot of wrestlers don't like Eric Bischoff and they say, man, he let Hulk Hogan do what he wanted. Certain people just had that stroke where, Eric Bischoff let these guys do whatever. And even when he had to fire guys or certain people he basically got rid of or whatever, it's like he still had his favorites. And pretty much they like Hogan was like a blessing and a curse at the same time for WCW, right? So what did Eric Bischoff say? He was just burnt out. He was running the show by himself. And okay, so for you to, instead of saying things as in a way of suggesting, right, in a way of wanting to see AEW and Tony Khan prevail, no, he's saying it as a critique and saying it in a way like Tony Khan doesn't know what he's doing. He has no vision. What kind of vision did you have? Like, remember when they did the Millionaires Club in WCW? And all you did was made it like the old versus the new. I remember he had, I think, Buff Bagwell and Luger coming in and Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo beat them in like a minute or something like that. And basically the crowd went nuts. And it's like, okay, cool. But it was like too little too late because these people didn't want wrestling on TNT, TBS anymore, whatever. So they wind up, wanting to sell, and they did. Now, Eric Bischoff said he wanted to buy WCW, right? And, whatever, he explained why he couldn't. But, okay, now you buy them, you have to find a deal for the product too, right? Everything that Eric Bischoff talked about, right? And yeah, he has experience in the game, but he's overlooking his own flaws. And you're saying that Tony Khan should do things that you did that didn't even work for WCW. Now, as far as him having other people that can get together with ideas, yeah, I do agree with that. Because one person trying to do everything, you can make things can get stale. And you also can get to the point where you have a certain thing that you're doing where you're not challenging yourself to like, hey, let me come up with fresher ideas. Let me, I don't know the interaction, how it goes. The wrestlers are not complaining at AEW, but I'm saying really what Eric Bischoff is really trying to say, he needs to let someone who has been in WWE get in his ear and convince him to do things WWE style. And that's pretty much what most wrestling fans think. Wrestling personalities think. If you're not doing what the WWE is doing, you're doing it wrong. Because even if you're doing it right, the bias is going to kick in. I don't know why you want to watch a product that reminds you of a product that you already get. So there are things that I see, like I said, that they need to get back to their original format. They need to get back to the things that they were doing that was making their product stand out, and it didn't feel anything like WWE, and it doesn't feel like WWE. Okay? They still have a good product. But they got away from the things that really stood out about AEW and the things that had people really looking at them like, you know what, man? Yeah, wrestling is fun again. And you can go in any comment section of any of this stuff, and you saw so many comments saying AEW has made wrestling fun again. Now I'm back to watching wrestling. Now the excitement is back. And so, yeah. And they didn't do that by copying the WWE. They came out by doing things their way. The problem with professional wrestling, just like anything, is You have to keep doing things. You always have to keep proving yourself. It's no one point that you get to, and then all of a sudden, I don't have to do anything different. I can just keep doing the same things. When those things no longer work, when people are tuning in and then tuning out going, nothing special there, and then they'd rather watch a basketball game or football. No, like I said, a diehard basketball fan is going to choose basketball. A diehard boxing fan is going to choose boxing. So we're all the diehard wrestling fans. That ratings don't go where they should go because they're watching something else. They're turning into your show during commercials, and that's the WWE included. That's any wrestling show. So with all the success of AEW and the WWE, TNA, MLW, whatever, no, they take a back seat to other sports. And when it's times when AEW has basically had higher ratings than the NBA or the MLB or whatever, no, they don't bring those things up. They don't want to mention that. So when you look at things, and also people got to understand something. Back in the day, right, you had to watch a show or you were going to miss what happened. There was no replay. Now, Nitro had the replay. But what ends up happening is, and the reason they had the replay is because if more people chose to watch Raw, let's just say if they had 1.5 million watching Nitro when it was live, well, you might get another million to watch the replay. You understand what I mean? So, yeah, guess what? People are still tuned into the product. But back in the day, really, you didn't have replay. It's like you either saw the show or you didn't. Now you got to wait till the next week. And I don't care what it was. Any show, whether it was a sitcom, whatever it was, you had to watch when they played it that night. Listen, when now you look, man, listen, you have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, you have HBO Max, so on and so on. You have all these different streaming apps, Peacock and everything. Do you think that people are just sitting down going, you know what? We want to get at least 10 million people to watch AEW tonight in WWE. We're not going to watch these streaming apps that we pay a monthly service for. Man, people are doing so many different things that it's not a necessity that we have to see it. Why? A lot of people have gotten to the point, and see, people don't think about these things. When people don't care about watching the whole show anymore, it's like music. If you look, I used to do music. Let me tell you something. People don't care about albums anymore. They care about singles. That's why you don't hear people talking about such and such sold 1.5 million records. No, they don't care about that anymore. It's all about singles, not a whole album. So guess what? People narrow down who they want to watch on the show. So they don't give a shit if they don't see the whole episode of Raw or SmackDown or Dynamite or whatever. Because why? I can just go see what I want on YouTube. I can go watch the highlights on YouTube. Oh, I don't have to watch that whole boxing card. I don't care if I miss Fury versus Usyk. I can just watch the replay, the highlights on YouTube. Do you understand that? So there's no real desire for it. People are spoiled. Hell, we're all spoiled. How many times have you been sitting there watching something on your big screen TV? At the same time, you're watching something on your cell phone. Or you got the PIP screen on, right? Okay, so it's what I'm saying. People, the desire is not the same. So even when people say, oh, this is an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. Oh, you keep hearing this flip-flop every so many years because the business takes a dip every time. You're at an all-time high, then all of a sudden, boom. How many years have we been hearing, every time they have a WrestleMania, the show after, Raw does sucky numbers. They used to have this guy, called Sledgehammer TV. Every single week, man, he was like disgusted with SmackDown and Raw. And he would just every single week talk about how stupid the show was, how the ratings dipped, how they had half-empty arenas. And listen, you see, the thing about all of that is his following was like, I remember him having like 30-something thousand subscribers to his channel. These were people that didn't like the WWE as well, because they would be with him in the comment section. my thing has always been, I don't watch things I don't like. And he chose to do a wrestling channel at the time, and he also was doing like movie reviews and stuff and all. So, but my whole thing with that is, look, this happens in wrestling often, right? So when it gets to a point when you start bashing something and people follow you for the bashing of that particular product, depending on how big it is, okay, and depending on how creative they can be and what they can do to make things better, those people may just walk away from that product and say, yeah, I'm done watching Raw, I'm done watching SmackDown or whatever. Or they might come on your channel, agree with everything you say, and still watch it. So is the idea to get people to stop watching it, or is it to say, hey, man, they need to do this and that? And he would always have ideas about what they should do and what he would do if it was him and stuff like that. I don't know if his channel still exists, but as long as the WWE has been around, it's my point. What I'm saying is their ratings are nowhere close to the Attitude Era ratings. Nowhere close to it. Okay, like I said, right now, factually, SmackDown and Raw are doing peak TNA numbers. Now, if we're gonna send any wrestler to any company, any wrestler decides to go to any company, right? Any wrestler, if you can fit in with the style that they want, great. If you can't, if they're not willing to work with you to try to get you to the point where say, you know what, now we see what her strengths and weaknesses are. Let's hide her weaknesses. Let's exploit her strengths, and let's put her in situations where those weaknesses don't even show. It's not always as easy as it sounds, because you always hear commentators when somebody comes from a different company, like come from, let's just say, AEW, okay? This person is simply not used to the style of the WWE, or, oh, this person is not used to being in the title picture in the WWE. They want to make that emphatically clear. So when the person says, oh, they didn't know just how green she was, no, they did know. They did know. And this was the match when they won the tag titles from Asuka and the other chick, okay? You clearly hear the commentators say, Jade Cargil simply is just not used to the title scene in the WWE. You don't think that they know she's green? So those flaws that she have, right? Of course, we're going to point that out. It's not Bianca's fault. It's Jade's fault. Yeah, they're not stupid, man. They know that we're watching. We can see what's happening in the ring. If we can see it, you don't think Shawn Michaels and these people, of course they see it. But once again, you cannot take Jade Cargil. You don't hype up a wrestler that way and then send him to no goddamn NXT. You just don't do that, man. Like what I'm saying, NXT is developmental. Remember when they was talking about, and here's the funny thing. Dutch Mantel, all these people, Eric Bischoff, all these different people with these different podcasts and all, they were saying, oh, if you look at Mercedes Moné, oh, AEW is wasting her. Oh, she was the worst signee ever. Oh, she's been there, she hasn't done anything. Okay, Mercedes Moné got signed. She came out. She was doing, coming to the ring. She addressed the crowd and stuff like that. And it was a while before she got in the ring and wrestled. They're trying to build up interest into her getting there. So her and Willow Nightingale, who has had history over in Japan, and we know that Willow had, beat her in Japan. She beat Willow in the rematch. Well, bottom line is, she comes in and she has a match. People sit there and act like they don't remember. The same time they were saying these things about Mercedes Moné, Jade Cargil did absolutely nothing but get out of a limousine, half naked. And I'm like, here goes the stupid part. And this is what I'm saying, where you got to understand what they were trying to do with Jade. Why the fuck did Jade get out of a limousine with like a fucking bathing suit on with some long ass boots up? Okay, it was wrestling gear. But why the fuck did she have on wrestling? She didn't wrestle nobody. And she had on like high heel boots. What was the purpose of the get up? Let's show off her physique. Let's let people see the eye candy. That they're gonna, yeah, let them see what they got waiting, Okay. What was the purpose? Remember that? She got out the little silver outfit on. She walks over with Triple H and they're walking and talk. Why is she half naked? What's the purpose? She's not wrestling. So what's the purpose of that, right? All right, then. You remember how wrestlers back in the day, if they went on talk shows and stuff, they went out there with that wrestling gear on? Every time you saw them in front of a camera, they had on their wrestling gear, even though they're just doing an interview. And I'm not talking about because they do an interview and then wrestle the same night in the dark match or some shit like that. No, I'm talking about the fact that they were always trying to be seen in their wrestling gear. Why? Because guess what? One day you're going to be changing the channel and go, oh, wait, that's that guy that I seen the other day, on the Conan O'Brien show or whatever. So what I'm saying, right? They did all of this and they criticized Mercedes Moné. But the whole time, the WWE wasn't doing shit with Jade Cargil except having her pop up here and there just to show her face for 15 seconds. She's standing in the back having conversations with people. And I mean, that's all they was giving her. Little 15, 20-second clips of nothing. And then she finally makes her appearance at the Royal Rumble. And I'm telling you, she even slimmed down. If you look at Jade, she's not as solid as she was. She's still muscular, but she's smaller, man. She's not as thick as she was. It's like it's beefy. That was by design, man. See, WWE is all about trying to make sex symbols out of people, for one. And it's more like, okay, let's get her. She was never like a big woman. She's only probably about a good 155 pounds, but she's solid. But she probably, when at her top form physically, she probably was about a good 160, 165. You look at her when she first came out with Shaquille O'Neal and got up in Dustin and Cody Rhodes' face. You see, like, yeah, she was definitely a bigger back then. And she slimmed down a lot. And it's like the same thing. Remember how when China was all bulky and then all of a sudden they switched, she slimmed down a whole lot. She went from being so stone-faced and like, that ass-kicking serious type to all of a sudden she's crying over Eddie Guerrero and Eddie Guerrero's throwing flowers on her face. And you understand what I mean? Oh, we have to make her connect with the fans. Let's make her vulnerable. They did all of the same thing that they tried to do with Jade. Let's tone her down. Let's get her and let's recreate who she is already in our own minds. And then now they put her in there in matches where she can't do certain things like stylistically that she's not used to, certain moves and timing. And you're putting her in those situations. I remember Magnum TA was asked, how did he come up with his finisher? And Magnum said, well, I wasn't the biggest and strongest guy. He said, so I needed a finisher that I could pretty much do on just about anybody. So that's how I came up with that particular finisher. Imagine telling Magnum TA, all right, tonight you're fighting Road Warrior Animal. I want you to gorilla press him. There's certain things you just don't. We want you to have a power move style. No, that's not who Magnum is. Jade is strong. Jade is athletic. She's agile. But you have to give Jade have her wrestle in matches in a style she's comfortable in. And if y'all think that what she was doing isn't going to be enough, then you should have never signed a contract with her in the first place. Why? Because there's no way you couldn't see how green Jade was. There's no fucking way. And people also forget, Jade was in the WWE trying out for them. She got cut. Yeah, people don't remember that. A lot of people don't even know that. Yeah. She came up in this system that's tough enough or whatever the show was, and she didn't make it. Okay, so they know just how green Jade is. So but like I said, if they booked her the way AEW booked her, you wouldn't even see. You wouldn't even really see. Like the botches that we've seen in AEW, this is what I'm saying. Jade needs a certain pace, a certain style where, when she's doing what she's doing, it's all about communication, okay? Now, basically, this is also the critique that she got. Aside from jumping up on the top rope and slipping. And like I said, a whole lot of other wrestlers had problems with that top rope. It was a mechanical thing. It wasn't just something she did, but they only talked about her. They crucified her. The other thing was her tapping out when Shayna Baszler had the chokehold on her, right? Now, basically, I didn't see the match. I just saw the clips that what they're complaining about with Jade is what I saw. I didn't see the match. It looked like she was tapping out and she wasn't supposed to be. What Jade was doing, she wasn't tapping out. But the way she did it, that's what it looks like. And it's like, damn, what the fuck? And then, so what she was doing was telling Shayna Baszler, like, yo, you squeezing my neck too tight. Like, oh, here's one of those. Okay? One of the guys says, like, yeah, man, what happened, they saying that Shayna got mad because Drake, like Jade hit her too hard or something. Who knows, man? Jade might have even been trying to Shayna might have even been trying to sabotage her. A lot of times people come into a company, they're not always well received by the people in the back. A lot of times people feel like, man, I've been here all this time and motherfucker, you bringing people in here to take my shine. I'm going to help her make herself look bad. I remember when Lex Luger, he was wrestling Stan and Lariat Hansen. Now look at Lex Luger, right? Big muscular dude. Stan Hansen is dropping elbows on him. And you literally could hear Lex Luger say, yo, not so rough, not so rough. And I remember that shit just went all over my body. I was a kid and I'm like, man, what the like I heard him say that. And that's what I'm like. Now I always knew, like, come on, man, like he let him hit him, or that you knew, you could see. Like I said, I didn't know what to call wrestling at that time. I know it's called wrestling, but it's like, I mean, can you actually call this a sport? Like, what do you classify it as? You understand what I mean? And he's telling them, not so rough. We heard the story about, who was it? Was it Bruiser Brody? Somebody that was wrestling Lex Luger, and Lex was trying to literally scared, trying to climb out the cage. And that made wrestling look so bad. Why? Because here you got this big muscle-bound dude talk all this shit in interviews, and then when it comes to actual, like, he really, was literally scared of the guy. I mean, you hear all these different stories, and it's just like, I don't take wrestling serious because it's not a real sport. They get hurt by accident far more than they do on purpose. We seen Brock Lesnar. Remember with Braun Strowman, and Braun, was hitting Brock kind of stiff, and Brock grabbed him and started really punching, and you can see, like, he was really punching him. Like, hey, lighten up. You understand what I'm saying? He's cracking him. Okay? So those things happen. So she wasn't tapping, but that's what it looked like. She's tapping out. The tap was like trying to tell Shayna that, hey, you're choking me too hard. So she got criticized for that as well. I get that. But you also got to criticize Shayna Baszler. Because it's like, Shayna, come on, man. Yeah, lighten up. Why are you choking her like that? And like I said, man, people are not trying to give you their spots. So I'm saying all that to basically just, further the point and get into the story of, for Jade Cargil, everybody have ups and downs. Maybe things might turn out for the better for her. Does she stay in WWE? I mean, she's contracted, but do they utilize her properly? Do they kind of push her to the backside? Do they put her in crappy storylines? Who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, like I did the video and I'm talking about Becky Lynch and Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon. It's like, people don't want to see them come over to AEW because anything that adds to their product, nope, I don't want to see it. I want to see them fail type of mentality. So if anything, I guarantee you this. When Adam Copeland left the WWE, who was his last match against? Sheamus, right? And he won. More than likely, they didn't think Adam Copeland was coming to AEW. And even if they did, it didn't matter. Why? Because look at how they booked Sheamus anyway. So it doesn't matter about his history and what he's done. Sheamus is not a top guy anymore. He hasn't been for a long time. He's been on an incredibly long losing streak. You know what I mean? So there's no real big deal. But you better believe, if they do decide this shit on Jade Cargil, I don't know how long her contract is, and I don't care. But however long, if they do decide to shit on her, she's going to get the Lex Luger treatment. She's going to get the Kevin Nash treatment. She will lose every match that she has until her exit out. And they'll probably keep her off TV. But they'll make sure that the last time you see her on TV, it's a losing effort. and to someone that's probably not even the very top. Someone that's trying to make it. Maybe they'll bring Jada Parker in or something. Bring her over there to SmackDown and have her defeat her. The rookie Jada Parker, right? You understand what I mean? Yeah. Doesn't matter. Jade is no seasoned veteran herself, but yeah, try to build up Jada Parker. They might. I'm just saying, like you know how it happens in professional wrestling. They don't want you to walk away from their company on top. You see how they tried to screw Bret Hart. You see how, so it's always something going on where people are just complaining and talking. But yeah, when you look at what's going on, man, you come on, man, you don't put people in a position that they're not ready for. And then the thing is, right now, I don't know if you guys feel this way. You already know, okay? The goal is they want at some point Bianca versus Jade. Now, I do believe they want Jade to be like a big star in the WWE. Don't get me wrong. But, and she already has popularity. People, in fact, when you look at it, she gets louder cheers than Bianca does. And you know, like in the Royal Rumble, remember when they turned around and was facing each other, right? Remember they both gorilla press someone? Now you can clearly look at Bianca's face and she's going, ready? Go. And then they picked up their opponent and dropped them and then they're staring at each other. The crowd is going nuts, right? Because they want to see that. Now, do you think that the fans are watching her going, yo, she is so green. She's not ready. I can't wait to see her and Bianca. No, they want that. Because they see that, yo, Jade can go. Bianca can go and Jade can go. But you have to put her in a better situation. And listen, not for nothing. See, Bianca is a part of that system, okay? But if you look at Bianca, right, and the thing is, if you look at her, Bianca herself, she does a lot of moves where she don't complete the move. I've seen her slam several people, and especially when she does like that spine buster type slam, she does that shit where wrestlers like damn near land on their heads. Well, they literally do land on their heads. So she has a lot of botch moves as well, but she's more accustomed to the WWE style. You understand what I mean? Than Jade is. And that's basically why she's more comfortable. But yeah, Jade, go and look at Bianca's matches. Bianca, she does a lot of moves where she can really hurt someone. Really, really hurt someone because she slammed them the wrong way. At the same time, though, she's homegrown. Jade isn't. So if it comes down to them trying to, decide who they want, like me looking at Jade versus Bianca, it's kind of like Warrior versus Hogan in a sense of like one person has been there already and making a name for themselves, have made a name for themselves for years, while the other one is coming from other companies and coming to make their name in that company. So it's like, yeah, I think they want to see Jade Cargil in a particular position, but they want to also be able to say, look at what we did with her. Well, hey, listen, when she was over there in AEW, she was 60-something and no? Yeah. She was over here making it happen. And even if you look at her match with Chris Statlander, it was her last match before she left. Her and Chris had a hell of a match. And this is what I'm saying. So why was she able to do these things in AEW? Because they knew how to book her. And the style that they used, like they put her in the matches, it worked out for her. So, like, Jim Ross one day, I remember someone, and I was so glad that person asked Jim Ross that question. What the person did was insinuated that, oh, Bill Goldberg, he wasn't this and this. And JR, he corrected that guy. He said, no, it wasn't Goldberg's fault. I blame the WWE. They simply didn't book him right. You can't blame Goldberg. They put him in matches and had him trying to wrestle a style that, Goldberg is not a 20, 30-minute guy. You got to put Goldberg in shorter matches. So his explosiveness is this. It's like he gets you out of there. So Goldberg has to take punishment. It goes back and forth here and there. But what happens is, you see, if he's getting beat up too badly in between, the crowd is starting to boo. Like, oh man, this dude is overrated, man. You understand what I'm saying? So now he, all of a sudden, he gets up, he starts coming back. And how many times did that happen before he finally defeats you? So you got to put Goldberg in the right type of situations. And the bottom line is putting Jade Cargil in there with Bianca. I believe they thought that would hide her being green. And listen, I can tell you she's not as confident. She's really not. when her and Bianca won the titles, Jade wasn't thinking about celebrating, holding it, but she was walking literally over to Bianca. You could hear her say thank you. You could see her face. So she doesn't even know how to like certain things. Just keep it off the camera. Just, all right, wait till y'all get in the back. Bianca knows that you're grateful. She knows that, okay, yeah, you know, but it's like she breaks character on camera. So she wanted something that she wasn't truly ready for, not because, oh, the WWE is so more advanced. No, it's just their style. What they want is different. And this is why, even like Ric Flair said, AEW, WWE had, okay, look, as far as what they've been doing, they're the more established company and been in here longer, but they're not better than us, not when it comes to wrestling. And he's absolutely right. Just like they wasn't better than TNA in wrestling. It's everything else. So even with them merging with UFC, and it's like everything is always, people want to feel like they're a part of something that's big. So they always want to make it seem like everything that they're doing is just excellent. Okay. People love image. Tony Khan is more laid back, and he defends his company and he does what he does his way. And so when you sit here trying to say all of a sudden now, well, TNA is actually better than AEW. Right. That's why they're on Access TV. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I love TNA. But let's just be real. Even like when TNA, let's not forget, TNA had Tessa Blanchard beat Brian Cage. A 280-pound dude lose to a 120-pound woman. I don't care nothing about, but he heard this shit, like, stop it. That right there was like, wow. I love Jordan Grace as a performer, but at the same time, come on, man, stop it. Put Jordan Grace in those situations in the knockouts division. Let women win the women's titles. Let men win the men's titles. Let's not forget, back in the day, Eric Young, remember he had the knockouts champion. And it's like, come on, man. Oh, but it's the comedy. And this is where I'm saying, you see, when they start trying to put the comedy in their show, start trying to do certain things that the WWE was doing, it didn't work for them either. Their fans, see, that's the thing. Every show is like, okay, we want something different from the WWE. We want something that don't feel like the WWE. You give them that. Now, the fan base may grow slower, right? You're a newer company, you're coming in. Okay, fine. But when you start going, what else can we do? What can we do that's going to get more viewers? And then you start taking a page out of their book. It's not just their book, because they're not the only company, okay? And they're not the first company. But at the same time, then your core fans start to walk away, because it's like, now you're doing the same shit that the WWE is doing. See, and people forget that. They forget that. And if you remember, the channel was FSN. Fox Sports Network, they were coming on, and TNA style was more of a sporty type style than straight storyline based, and they changed all of that when they went to Spike, even before Spike. But it's one of these things, man, where you stand out the way you do, and let's be real, TNA has been around for over 20 years now. People don't realize that it's been over 2 decades. When they went to FSN, great, good move. Then they went to Spike. Okay, great move. Now they're on Access TV. Okay? Within 5 fucking years, Tony Khan has surpassed what TNA has been doing. They're not in the same position as TNA. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, all that being said, y'all, all I'm telling you is when it comes down to decision making and people keep telling you what they should do with this person, that person, yeah, we can all have great ideas, but what people got to understand is a lot of this is, let's just take this person if we can. This person's contract is, let's get this one and this one. We'll figure out what we're going to do with them when we get them here. Remember, so I said a long time ago, you're going to see the same Jade Cargil. When she come out at the Royal Rumble, there will not be no vast improvements. There will not be no all of a sudden, oh, she's a hold it. Nope. It's going to be the same Jade Cargil. The only thing is, it's going to be the first time that you get to see her. That's why she's in a Royal Rumble match. Why? Because there's no real one-on-one stuff, real detailed wrestling going on. It's just everybody for themselves. Do you understand? So this is what I'm saying. All of that stuff that they were doing, I could see it from the very beginning. That's why it was a Royal Rumble match for her. And the fact that they teamed her up with Bianca. Well, Jade don't want to be in a position where it looks like Bianca is carrying her, but ain't that what everybody's saying now? Isn't that what they're saying? So now she's in a position where she has to show and prove. So, and look, I'm not saying she runs and go back to AEW. No, she has a contract. She's contracted with the WWE. Not saying she won't ever go back to AEW, but what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, she might be in a position where she has no choice. So her wanting to be in movies and magazines and all of that, well, Jay, you have to be a star on a particular level for people to even have interest in putting you on. You have a physique for wrestling, not for movies. You understand? Like if they're gonna cast a movie where you're some bodybuilder or you're playing like some type of fitness instructor, it's like what role are they gonna put her? I don't know if she's a good actor or not. And the woman name I was trying to think of with that Wyatt Sick or whatever is Nikki Cross. I mean, so are we supposed to? Oh wow, Nikki Cross new gimmick, like what? Because she's crawling on the floor making psychotic faces. It's Nikki Cross and it's Bo fucking Dallas. So you see what I'm saying to you guys, man? They recycle wrestlers. They do all of these different things, and then it's like when it doesn't work, then it's their fault. And every one of those wrestlers we just said, we don't know how long this thing is gonna last. Look at what's Rhea Ripley's group name. Rhea Ripley got hurt. She's been injured or something, so she's been out. But look at what's happening with Don. Look at like that whole group started out with Adam Copeland, and it was like some gothic, deep, dark type. Then all of a sudden they look like some little I don't know what the hell they were supposed to be. That's one of the weirdest. Like Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Dom. Like it was just weird. Like okay, all right. And I'm like, what is this group supposed to actually be? You understand what I'm saying? Like what exactly are they? Now, when people say shit like, Rhea Ripley will never go to AEW, how the hell do you know that? What, is she better than her husband? Like, is he trash or something? Because he's over there. Dominic's not her man. Nah. Buddy Matthews is. I don't know what, and I'm not saying she has any odds with WWE, like she's about to leave. No, I don't know that. But I'm just saying, like, people don't want to see these things. If wrestling if wrestling had more of a foundation of, hey, we work together. Let's do this. Like let's make this happen. Right? For example, we worked together the way Vince Sr. was. That's why we were able to see matches back in the day, like Ric Flair versus Kerry Von Erich when they were in two separate companies. That's the reason. So now, if you look at it, right, think about this. Tony Khan has the pay-per-view, okay, the Forbidden Door. People are using that same phrase now for the WWE and TNA. What's more interesting? The matches that AEW has had, or this little shit show of NXT wrestlers, and little NXT wrestlers going to TNA for a pay-per-view episode, and TNA wrestlers coming over there to NXT. Like, who's talking about this shit? You understand what I'm saying? It's not something, it's just catching on. No, not to knock it, just saying, let's look at it realistically. There's nothing iconic about this shit. There's nothing epic about this shit. It's just something that they're doing. And they're not putting the same efforts into it. Now, if you really want to see something, go back and look at Kenny Omega versus Moose. Go back and look at that whole Forbidden Door situation with AEW and TNA. And you tell me honestly which was the better. The only difference, like I said, is when during the pandemic shit, it's like it was hard to watch any of that shit, man. I mean, professional football. Remember, they had cutouts in the seats, man. Like, it was like, wow. And I couldn't even watch like SmackDown and stuff when they had that those little screens with people's faces on it. It just was like, it just felt so wrong, man. It was just like, I understood it though. But I'm saying you look at the Forbidden Door situation with AEW and TNA. And what I'm saying, you see exactly the point what I'm saying to you. The WWE, what they is not the same shit. So it's they're doing this, and it's like, when you have the mindset like you should be the only big company in existence, you won't work to make the genre of professional wrestling stronger. You're working to make your company stronger. And basically, it's like nobody in the NFL wants to don't want to put the Canadian Football League out of business, or we should get rid of NFL Europe, or any other type of football, simply because Vince McMahon had his own, football league, and it was just bad football. You got Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross doing a commentary. You got all these like wrestling like skits going on, like style skits going on and stuff. Like, it just felt like, what the fuck am I, like, what is this, man? And it was just bad football, man. And it didn't work. But Vince had a vision. He tried, and it failed. Okay, it failed. He had the WBF, and it failed. So what he's good at was what he was doing. I don't like a whole lot of shit Vince McMahon did. I don't like a whole lot of shit none of them did. But at the same time, it's like, we know who the WWE is. In professional wrestling, the WWE is like the NFL, okay? And then every other company that comes after them, not that they're not good or even have a better product, but they don't have that same popularity. They don't have that same type of recognition. So guess what? It doesn't make a difference. They're always going to have to fight harder in order to get a bigger audience, because the WWE has the majority of the audience watching them. So even though those numbers have dwindled down, what is it that AEW, TNA, MLW, New Japan, CMLL, AAA, what is it that they can do that's going to all of a sudden just get 20, 30, 40, 50 more million people that normally don't watch wrestling? All of a sudden, they're all just watching wrestling. No, it's like, it's not an easy genre to go into. So, minus the stupid things that happen, it's like, I really just look at things like, man, people are talking about what they should and shouldn't do with this wrestler based on, how something worked or didn't work with someone else. Look, even with Carlito coming back, like, here's my thing. I can stand here and watch an episode of Raw, SmackDown, whatever, and I'm not moved by any of it. I'll read comments about what I just watched, and you got people saying, oh man, that was epic. Oh, when Carlito spit the apple in his face, and it's just like, okay, so Carlito spitting apple in someone's face was epic. Shawn Michaels with that little stupid stare that he always does. He look like he has, like he's in psychopath mode or something. Like, all these little things that it's just like, and that's the words you say. Oh, that was epic. Oh, that was huge. That was, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. So I realized a long time ago that people get turned on by like stuff that to me is just nothing. Little simple stuff. But somebody can go in there and wrestle their ass off. Do you think I want to watch a boxing match and I'm more interested in what they're saying in between the rounds? Or who's gonna walk the boxer to the ring? Which rapper's gonna walk him to the ring, and who had the best ring walk? I don't care about any of that nonsense. It's all about the fights. It's about the card. So if if you're focused on those little small things, then so be it. So like what Matt Hardy was saying, creating moments. And that's storytelling and all that type of stuff. But you got to understand something, man. We don't want to see AEW or any other company copying each other. We want to see them do their original thing. AEW needs to get back to what they were doing originally. That's what they need to get back and stick to it and make it stand out. And if Tony Khan, whatever type of assistance he needs, to see, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I don't know who else has any input. I know he works closely with Bryan Danielson. I definitely believe that because I mean Chris Jericho. How many times have Chris Jericho reinvented himself right there within AEW? So I don't know exactly what the setup and who does what. I know Tony Khan called the shots, and he has create his own creativity. To say he has no vision is like, no, he doesn't have your vision, Eric Bischoff. Okay, and your vision couldn't save WCW. And he basically said he had people like had networks fighting against him. Like it was a whole lot going on because people don't understand wrestling. Was trying to tell him what to do and how to do it and all this kind of stuff as well. So, I mean, if anything, man, like here's my thing. I don't know, and I doubt that this has ever happened because neither guy ever talked about it. But I saw Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan talking. Like I said, Eric Bischoff has basically spoke highly of them. Why? Just think. If Eric Bischoff is an ambassador of the sport, right? He's someone that, with all of his experience and wanting and if he so-called loved the genre, I don't think any of them love the genre of wrestling. I think they love what they did, and I think that they would love to be able to put their input into something, and that's what they love. I don't think they love the sport because they talk too much negativity about everything other than the WWE. Let's just be real. How about Tony Khan give Eric Bischoff give Tony Khan a call and say, hey, Tony, listen, I like what you're doing. I see what you've been doing. And listen, you on the same network we were on, and we've had conversations and, I've been on your show. I want to see nothing but the best for AEW, right? And your vision and what you're doing, right? I would like to offer my services. If you're interested, let me know. I think we can do some things that we can even help AEW grow to be in a better place. How about that? Now, Tony Khan's either going to say he's interested or not. Tony Khan, I don't know him. But everybody that talks about him talks good about him. Now, the people who have something negative, I ain't talking about CM Punk. Let's be real. Mercedes Moné said she had a situation right before the pay-per-view with her brother. Something happened with her brother. I guess he's sick. Something was wrong, and she was not in a good position at that point. That she told Tony Khan what happened, and Tony Khan got in his private jet and flew out, and not only stayed with the brother, but let Mercedes Moné get taken back to, where she needed to be. And then he wound up, after staying in it, and her brother was okay, he, made his destination back to where they had to go for the pay-per-view. I mean, but people don't talk about things like that. Yet Vince McMahon is over here with all these fucking sex allegations and all that type of shit, and everybody's just shh. Not that I want to hear about it. I don't really care, but you see the point what I'm saying. There's always something that things that people overlook about a business. So for Eric Bischoff, Vince Russo, all these guys, man, they sit back and it's like they're bitter because they'll say they're not. They're successful without wrestling. No, you're not. Because you're making money off your podcast because of wrestling. Nothing else you're doing. Remember, Eric Bischoff had his own production company or something like that. They were doing shows, TV shows and stuff. Him and the guy from that sitcom used to come on back in the day. But bottom line, you're getting paid for talking shit about the profession that put food on your table. So yeah, how about reaching out to try to offer services? No, they don't do that shit. Instead, let's just sit back on our little bullshit podcast and talk a bunch of shit. Because why? Because basically, we used to be in that position. We were on TNT and TBS. Yeah, we had Nitro. We had Thunder. And look at this short time. That's what people don't understand. In 5 fucking years, look at where this company has grown and come to. So, that's just what it is, man. So, for someone, whether it's Jade Cargil, whether it's Becky Lynch, whoever, man, people got families to feed. They got things to do. And, a lot of times people just want to challenge themselves, man. They want to do something different. They need to change their pace. They get tired of the same old, same old. You understand what I mean? So, and like anybody I've talked to, we all said the same thing. Look at Bayley's run over there in WWE. Only thing you can say about Bayley, she has a belt. But, man, this is one of the most bullshit title reigns I've ever seen. Nobody even talks about what Bayley's doing. Everybody, look, for example, everybody is so busy talking about Jade Cargil or her botched move and her botched matches. They're not even talking about Bayley. She's over there fighting Piper Niven and they're putting her. I mean, she a weak title reign. There's nothing going on with Bayley. Nothing that's even worth remembering. So, we can look at a whole lot of things and we can piece it together. But if you're honest with yourself, you know that we can sit back and say, hey, man, there's people that love wrestling. Shit, man, we got AEW to watch. They got 3 damn shows. Plus, they got the Ring of Honor, pretty much all part of what they're doing and stuff like that. Man, we got MLW. We have WWE. We have TNA. You have New Japan. No, that's not how it goes. How this goes is let's pick a brand and we're either pro WWE or nothing at all, or whatever company or nothing at all. And so at the end of the day, it's like pro wrestling fans watch everything. And listen, I'm not saying everybody's going to like everything. No, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like Jacob Fatu, you know how long I've been watching him? He's been over there in MLW. I think he had the longest title reign of everybody over there. I'm watching him and Brian Hammerstone. And I'm watching, and this is what I'm saying. So I watch what I can. Everything I see about MLW is on YouTube. I don't know what network they come on, but everything is there. The Ring of Honor stuff I see on YouTube. New Japan, Triple A, like this stuff I see on YouTube. But the point is, I check out the product because I love watching professional wrestling. Now there's a lot of shit about it that make me not want to watch it, and there's times where I get away from it and I don't. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like you have a whole genre where there's a lot of wrestling to watch. A whole lot of wrestling. And this is like I said, when I hear so-called wrestling fans talk about, nobody wants to watch wrestling all day. Well, you obviously aren't a wrestling fan. You're a casual. Because like I said, you guys get these NFL and NBA packages and sit and watch football or basketball all day long. How do you manage to do that? But yet, there's something wrong with watching a lot of wrestling. Yet you're a wrestling fan. No. You are a WWE fan or whatever company it is that you like. That's what it is. And it's not wrestling in general. But once again, all this picking sides and choosing sides and stupid shit instead of just enjoying a product, man. And that's what it really comes down for me. So, before I close this video, my whole thing about the Jade Cargil situation, man, is like, look, things are going to happen. Right? Things are going to happen. People are going to have bad matches. Situations are going to happen in where they feel like, man, if I could just take that back. But once it's done, it's done. We will just have to see what happens with Jade Cargil. Can she adjust? And like I said, it's about her adjusting to a different style that they want her to perform in. That's what it comes down to. That's all it really comes down to, as well as her getting, because the better you get and you can pull off certain moves, your confidence is there because you're doing it. And this is what I'm saying. I just don't think that they're putting Jade in the right position. I know they're not. I know they're not putting her in the right position. What I don't know is if they understand what they need to do with Jade. And if they feel like she's not doing, you got to remember, guys, this is a job for these people. So if they feel like Jade is not working up to the level that they want her to work up to, and that's what it comes down to, is what they want, then yeah, you just might see her right back in the AEW. The problem with that is, wrestling is not even a sport. It's not even it's basically fake fighting, and pretty much what's going to end up happening if let's say whenever her contract is up, and let's say she doesn't fulfill what she wanted to do over here in the WWE. They send her packing her bags. If Tony Khan wants her back, and she comes back to AEW, wrestling fans are too stupid to understand. It depends on how the company see you and who they want to use. they would look at her like, oh, please, you couldn't beat nobody. You was over there fucking up matches. Now you back in the AEW because you're trash and you can't make it in the WWE. That's exactly what they're going to say. Which means AEW fans might feel sour towards her for leaving in the first place, and they might not really support her. Which means she might find herself in AEW and she's not really productive. And this is what people got to understand when you make decisions. Like I said, you always think the grass is greener when you go somewhere else until you get there and realize, nah, everybody's not going to have the same fortune, man. I mean, look at how long Roman Reigns' title, look at how long he held that title. I got so sick, I couldn't even watch this shit, man. I honestly, I didn't want to hear him say, acknowledge me and all that shit. I just was like, man, I'm tired of seeing Roman Reigns. Do you want to see the so-called new head of the table hold the belt for that long? Man, Jacob Fatu had that belt in MLW forever. Now it looks like Solo Sikoa is the guy in the driver's seat. Well, Roman's going to come back, and he's not going to want to take a back seat to Solo Sikoa. I remember when him and The Rock was in the ring, and he told The Rock he needed him to do something for him, and he said, I need you to acknowledge me. Remember when The Rock stood there and said, Roman Reigns, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief. Remember the crowd started booing The Rock and started chanting, you sold out? And Rock go, that's my family, and right, and all that, right? And family look out for each other, that's what we do, and all that, right? The fans didn't care about what The Rock was saying. Okay? When he told The Rock to acknowledge him, you know what people thought? The Rock was going to feel insulted, snap out of it, and what they thought was going to happen is they were going to get into it. They were going to go into WrestleMania with, what does this do for WrestleMania now, or whatever. And people thought The Rock was going to screw Roman Reigns over. Cody was going to win. The Rock is right back in as the people's champ, so to speak, or whatever, and everything. Because when you look at it, man, I mean, look. The Rock and Roman Reigns was still coming out for the most part to two separate entrances, right? And basically, everybody knows the hardest person to beat in the game, right, is the final boss. The hardest person to beat in the movie is who? The final boss. So, with or without a belt, The Rock is still a bigger star than everybody in the WWE. Roman Reigns included. So for Roman Reigns, him being called the tribal chief, he had his time. Now that run has come to an end. Now, when he comes back, do you think that Solo Sikoa is going to want to move over so Reigns can come back and take his so-called head of the table spot? No. Now, does Reigns become a face now? And now him and Solo Sikoa are going back and forth. Does he reunite with Jimmy and Jade? Does all of a sudden he apologize for his behavior and whatever? I don't know. You know, but at the end of the day, it's like out with the old and with the new. Now, The Rock said him and Cody's story has just begun. And I'm going to be honest with you. I have no interest in Cody versus The Rock. We've seen that story already. And what's going to happen? If The Rock comes back and fight Cody, see, this is what people, they really, they're so like narrow-minded when they look at real good storylines versus some same old recycled shit. If The Rock and Cody fights, they fight. Everybody knows The Rock is not going to win. Now, The Rock pinned him in the tag match. The Rock is not going to be champion again. You see his position in the company, right? People will start to boo him and want to see him go away completely. Like, we don't even want to see you on TV. So what's the purpose? And The Rock doesn't, if you look at how many times did he slam Cody Rhodes into the damn barricade, into the walls, hollering, look at you now, right? The Rock was barely doing any wrestling moves. It was a fight. Okay? So what is The Rock going to do in the match with Cody where the match itself is just, oh, I can't wait to see Cody versus The Rock? So basically, you're gonna wrestle Cody in a match where we already know that regardless to how it happens, Cody's gonna win. If you win, it's gonna be disqualification, count out, something, whatever. And basically, let's say if they got bold, and let's say The Rock did win the belt. Once again, the fans are going to hate him for that shit. Now, should they? No. It's fucking storytelling. It's a soap opera. But at the same time, it's like, have you ever seen people watch soap operas? Oh my God, I can't stand him. I hate that guy. He was cheating on her the whole time, and that's her best friend. Oh, I can't. Like, they make it like it's real. They take the fakest shit and they actually get in their feelings about it. Now, that all being said, y'all, when something is predictable and people say, yeah, well, we know he's going to win, but how he's going to win, that's what I'm interested in knowing, right? Yeah, and a lot of times you just feel it like, yeah, such and such is going to win more than likely. But see, here's the thing about storylines. You start to see the same recycled shit over and over. They just do it with different people. And that's why I prefer to the AEW style of the Owen Hart tournament, the Continental Classic. Like, these are wrestling tournaments. These are shows where, not that things can't happen in terms of storyline, because they do happen, but they're not story driven where everything they do, there's another episode of it. This is where, if you look at like storylines in wrestling are very boring. It's the same thing. I like Chelsea Green as a wrestler. She finally got a win, finally. But when her and Piper Niven come out, like the whole aha nana type childish behavior, like that shit just like, it's like, man, what are we, like 12, man? That style is just like so boring to me, man. It's just so fucking boring. It's not something that, we're grown ass adults, man. So even with the kids fit in, they're watching wrestling, but it's just like, it's the same thing. Every single week somebody comes out, they threaten someone, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to beat you within an inch of your life. I mean, all of these things that they say and do. Most of the time, the matches don't even live up to the hype. And when the match ends and the next story comes in, like, for example, look at the story when Sami Zayn won that title, right? That shit blew everybody's mind because it looked like Sami was all but out. And he came back and he won. Ever since Sami's won that belt, look at the bullshit storyline that he's been in. Look at what, like, they're not doing anything. So this whole shit with him and Chad Gable and him trying to tell Otis, a grown-ass man, to stop letting somebody manipulate him, right? Okay, cool, we get it. It's like, look at Luchasaurus, or Killswitch now. Killswitch is being manipulated where he knows the things that Christian Cage is doing is wrong. He knows that they're wrong. So people say, oh, they don't have storylines. No, they do have storylines. But it's more of a person expressing their personality. They're like who they are. You know, Christian with this whole, you know, always talking about somebody's father. And, you know, like, it's a difference in the way they do it. You know, Chad Gable was about to whip Otis. Remember? Sami Zayn comes out and save him. Okay, didn't we see MJF whip the shit out of Cody and even told him, if you want this match with me, right? Remember, the stipulation is you got to take 10 lashes. Remember that shit, right? All of a sudden, The Rock take his belt. Is it just ironic? Your blood is going to be on this belt and this and this. And I'm going to show it to Mama Rhodes and all that. And all of a sudden, now here goes Otis going to whip, Chad Gable going to whip Otis. You know, so it's what I'm saying. Like, storylines are storylines. We get it. Okay? But I don't care for these long, overdrawn storylines where, you know, especially when the outcome ends up not really doing justice for the story itself. So I don't mind the variation. Let the WWE do what they do. Let TNA do what they do. Let AEW do what they do. New Japan, all of them. And so if you don't like storylines, then you shouldn't like New Japan. Or you shouldn't like AAA. Because their stories are like, it's not even, they don't even have storylines. They're really just, they just talk about what's coming up, who they're fighting, and what they're going to do, and they just talk their shit. That's all they do. There's no real storylines going on. when they had Lucha Underground, I love what Lucha Underground was doing. And it was another wrestling promotion. Hey, somebody tell me in the comment section if you remember the name. I can't remember the name of this company, but they were coming on MTV. It was a wrestling show, and they were like, I like what they were doing. The show got canceled because something happened, man. Somebody got burned, electrocuted, like it was something. I think somebody threw a fireball. Something happened, and they canceled the show. I cannot remember the name of that show, but it was a wrestling show that came on MTV. They were in like this warehouse, and they like it was man, I can't remember. But if anybody knows what I'm talking about, tell me in the comment section what the name of that show was. But it got canceled because of something that they did on the show. And but the point, what I'm saying, y'all, is like every time you do something and you think, well, what works? What do we do? What can we do differently, right? Like The Rock talked about how him and Roman Reigns was talking about that him, Triple H, all the Vince, they were trying to make this match happen for years now. I've been hearing about this stuff. And that's why when they finally was talking about it happening, the fans didn't want that. They wanted Cody. And my whole thing with that, and like everybody knows, look, Rock, you're not going to beat Roman Reigns. And then, because they were trying to make Roman Reigns like the super champion. Now, let's think about this. After the type of run that Roman Reigns has had, who the hell else are they going to get that's going to be the champ that people are going to really care? Because the way I see this shit, right? If Solo Sikoa is going to be the new head of the table or whatever, and this whole Uso thing is going to continue, right? Well, that means the person that beats Cody is going to be the one that has the power, right? And if you notice, and this is one of the things that I'm starting to get sick of with professional wrestling for real, the majority of the fucking champions are always heels, man. And the heels are always the ones that hold the belt for the longest time. And you put all this storyline together just to end up losing the belt. The good guy wins, he gets the cheers, everybody's happy, and 2 months later, he's no longer champion. I'm looking at what's going on over here in AEW. I'm looking at Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay, and that's like, yeah, that's a match I really want to see. What I like with the AEW storylines is always like a history between two wrestlers that you might not have known because it didn't happen on camera. But they know each other, and then all of a sudden, you'll see like video clips of them together, through the indie circus and stuff like that. And so the matches are coming with the story. It is a story, you see, but their storylines are different. I like things to be different. So anyway, I wanted to shut this video down a long ass time ago, but y'all know how it is. And I don't want to, look, I just feel like in professional wrestling, the people within professional wrestling are the worst things to professional wrestling because, like I said, a lot of them are disgruntled because they no longer have what they used to, and they want to give all this talk like they, all the knowledge that they have, yet it didn't work for them. But at the same time, like I said, instead of people trying to bridge the gap to say, hey, listen, man, if you ever feel like you need pointers or you want some, just talk about some things, help out with the product, anything, just hey, man, I'm here for you, man. And you think that Eric Bischoff would be a person in that position, especially like dealing with someone, like seeing a company that's on the same network that he was once on. You know what I mean? And there's probably some jealousy there because let's just be honest. This guy went from praising Tony Khan to literally trying to bury him. And then to say, I don't need professional wrestling because, I'm successful without it. I respect it. But yeah, no, you can't sit here and say that you don't need professional wrestling because that's all you talk about on your podcast. What the fuck are you talking about on your podcast? 83 weeks. What are you talking about? How much can you say about 83 fucking weeks? after a while, you done told every story, right? So you now it's let's just bash AEW. And that's all he's doing. He don't talk about MLW. He doesn't talk about TNA. They don't talk about shit. And the only thing he said about TNA, and the only reason him, Vince Russo, or any of them talked about TNA is because of their affiliation now with the WWE. That's it. So all of these people that claim that they love the business, no, they don't love the business, man. They don't. And like I said, most of these people ended up broke or just not in the position that they wanted to be in. And they felt like life would be better. And they see other people that have better opportunities than them. And so even like when a person decided to walk away from the WWE, oh, I think they're making a mistake. How? 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 Now they turned around and said the WWE was going to outbid AEW for MJF. Remember how everybody kept talking that shit? So you remember when MJF just came back and said, I don't need a Vince McMahon. I don't need, like, he was, only thing I don't like when wrestlers do, and that's any company, when you come back and try to bury everybody on your roster as if they're not shit. Because if that's the case, well, then you don't have any worthy opponents. You understand what I'm saying to you? So when MJF made that comment before to Tony Khan saying, how many more former WWE guys are you going to put over? Because pretty much that's something that a lot of companies do. And their homegrown talent, when you push them to the side, let's be real, even when Hogan and Macho Man came to WCW, you clearly see the two faces, the two, like Sting, Luger, Flair, the Horsemen, like those guys like on the forefront, the Steiners. Okay? But when Hogan and Macho came, it was like Hogan number 1, Macho number 2, Sting number 3, Luger number 4. They completely tried to push them aside and have Hogan and Macho like as the head. These are the guys that's going to lead WCW. Man, and like, look at what you have in Sting and how long Sting's been in. There's no way in hell that should have even been in the thinking process. You got to find a way to mesh everything together. You know, you don't shit on people. But hey, at the end of the fucking day, man, right? At the end of the day, when you have more familiar faces, I get it. I get it. It's just that when you have, and I think that, I feel like AEW does a good job with balancing out everything. Because even, for example, if Orange Cassidy was in the WWE and John Moxley was in the WWE, John Moxley would have never lost to Orange Cassidy. Unless Orange Cassidy is a huge draw for the WWE and John Moxley is in a position where he's really not. Because bottom line, these guys like John Moxley, what's the other guy? The potbelly Puerto Rican dude. You know, it's always in a bad mood. Eddie Kingston, like certain guys, they didn't get the break. People didn't believe in them the way they believed in others. So guys like that are getting so much shine right here in AEW. I mean, the Young Bucks, all these guys. So for them to not ever be in the WWE doesn't mean shit. Doesn't take away from what they can do. But in terms of popularity, networks want notable names. They want names where they feel like people are going to tune in. So AEW has gotten over that hump. That was in the very beginning, and they got that deal. Chris Jericho was that guy at the time. Then Moxley came in shortly after that. Bryan Danielson and different people. So, yeah, I get all of that. But, like, for example, look at Wheeler Yuta. Him being a part of the Black Pool Combat Club is a great thing. But at the same time, it's like what I would like to see AEW do. You see, like what they did with Tony Storm. You know, all these different people they've been working with and they've been doing things. But I want to see them build wrestlers that's never been in WWE that they have. Put that same energy into developing them. Like Wardlow, for example, when it seemed like he was about to be that guy, man. I mean, he was there, and I don't know what went wrong. But then it's like, now he's not there. He's he's in AEW, but like, what happened? Jake Hager, you know, of course, we know he was in WWE. He was doing his MMA thing. I don't know if he's still doing both. But, you know, he never really did much of shit other than just be a sidekick with Jericho. So, yeah, there are wrestlers there that everybody's not getting the rub, but there's a whole lot of people in WWE the same way. Every company has a bunch of wrestlers, man. Everybody's not going to get that push at the same time. It's impossible. It's too many people. But what I'm saying with AEW, I would like to see them have wrestlers on their roster that they're pushing, that their identity, everything about them that got the crowd cheering on their feet is because of what AEW has done with that person. Because what ends up happening, let's just be real, when all of these people come from the WWE, let's just be real, They're angry, they're upset, they don't like the way they're being treated. They'll come to AEW, they'll have a big check, and what happens? As soon as their contract is up, they go running right back to the WWE. And so yeah, and the point I was making about MJF, y'all, was that they were saying this Dutch Mantel and all them, Vince Russo, that you watch MJF, and they said Wardlow was also going to be going to WWE 2 years ago. So you watch, they're going to outbid him. MJF is on fire right now, and he is WWE material, and there's nobody in the fucking WWE like MJF, not one person. Nobody. Not CM Punk. Nobody. MJF is listen. I can't believe they're giving him $15 million to stay. I mean, that's too much. So wait. Why does it matter? If the $15 million was coming from the WWE, all of a sudden that was a great investment. They got the money to do it, right? So hey, so he would have been worth it if it was the WWE. Somehow Tony Khan paying him $15 million, according to them, somehow he's not worth the $15 million. Wow. If you guys listen to them and you don't see that these guys are just full of hate and you don't want to see, because that's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. And that's why you always see WWE fans, when they watch certain wrestlers, they go, he or she needs to go to the WWE. And you start putting these little fantasy matches together in your head, just like y'all did with Jade Cargil. When they were saying Jade Cargil couldn't beat nobody in WWE, all this big steroid freak, all this stuff. As soon as they found out she was going to WWE, Jade Cargil. Now she's got there, and look at what's going on. Look at all the hate they're giving Mercedes Moné. For what? Why y'all being so... Why? Because she chose AEW over the WWE. And that's all it comes down to. And Jade Cargil right now, whatever happens. Hopefully for Jade, she can get it together. Because bottom line is, I don't know that she burned the bridge with Tony Khan, but at the same time, and here's the crazy thing. Somebody did an interview and said, listen, I'm not going to get into it, but I talked to Jade Cargil, and Jade told me out of her own mouth that Tony Khan actually offered her more money than what she's getting in the WWE. Like, for real. But she felt like she want to be in movies, she want to be on magazines, and she want to do this and this. And she felt like that the WWE could do that, and they told her that's easy. They could definitely do that for her, stuff like that. But dollar amount, yeah, man, Tony Khan, she said that she straight up. So, and the person was like saying, wait, she told me hey, listen, I'm not going to detail everything, but I'm just saying she definitely told me that, yes, she would have been making more money in AEW. But, she told me her reasons why she chose WWE. Now, let me explain this to y'all. Regardless to that, right? Once a person gets you anywhere, do you think somebody want to pay you a big salary so you can half-ass it? So you better believe, and you know how WWE do. They'll keep you off TV. They'll just keep you off TV, let your contract run out, and then send you away. And for people that was saying, and you know what's so funny? People were saying, why is Tony Khan wasting his money on Jeff and Matt Hardy? Jeff keep getting in trouble. Jeff, his whole career, can't stay out of jail. He's always getting locked up for DUIs, blah, blah, blah. And Matt Hardy, you can see, like I said, physically, you can see both of those guys struggling in the ring. Both of them. But isn't it funny how when they left and went to TNA, all of a sudden, I don't know why AEW wasted Matt and Jeff like that. First of all, Jeff Hardy is lucky that any company hires him. Because, he's always, no matter what, something goes wrong, he's getting arrested for another DUI. Matt Hardy basically is just like, you can see like, Matt moves like an old man now. He literally moves like an old man. Jeff struggles, and if you notice, Jeff don't do shit in the ring. He just hits that swanton and does much of nothing. And they can't do long matches anymore. The matches get sloppy with them. And so now they're in TNA. Okay, fine. So how did all of a sudden Tony wasted them? No. he could have used them more, but there's other people on the roster that I would rather see than Jeff and Matt Hardy. No disrespect to them, because, I do like what they accomplished, and, they have brought some excitement, entertainment to the business and all that. But, like, for example, Broken Matt Hardy, okay, it's not new. Delete. Yeah, it's old. We know. Right? You understand what I'm saying? So, is Jeff and Matt Hardy putting more asses in seats and getting more ratings and attention? No. So, basically, they're on the roster, right? Jeff got himself in trouble. Remember that. Let's not forget. He got himself in trouble. He came back. I don't know what, and here's the thing. We don't know the details. So it's easy to criticize and talk shit and assume things. But we don't know what happened. But they're in TNA now. Both of them showed up. And then, Jeff showed up against all odds. You know what? They had a good show. Cool. So be happy for him. He's there in TNA. Same way they left TNA, when they was released from TNA, okay? They was released by the WWE. They was released by AEW. So, it's always like, let's just pick and choose and point a finger at who did who wrong and who did what. Hey, listen, it's wrestling. People come, people go. The roster never stays the same. Just like I said, if Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, Adam Page, if all of these guys went to WWE, people would be loving them. It's because when somebody openly chooses any company over the WWE, especially AEW, but all of a sudden it's just like hate central. And like I said, when you look at the amount of wrestlers that right now AEW don't have active because they're out injured or something like that, it's a lot, man. It's a lot of people. So things happen. And when you got people coming in and they get a certain spot and you decide to come back, I don't know what's up with Sammy Guevara. I know Ty Mello, they had the baby. I don't know. I heard something about a suspension. I don't know what he did. I never really got the whole story. But, him and Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Britt Baker, there's a lot of people that's out hurt. There's a lot of people that's just not, Darby Allin, like, these are major players, man. So, when these people get back on board, we see what happens. And, you always want to see this show. Look, I don't want to see any of these companies fail. Okay? It's not about Vince McMahon. It's not about any one particular person. It's about the product. And you want to see, hey, treat people right. Take care of these people. Without them, you have no company. That's any of them. Any of them. I don't want to see, I'm not sitting up here hating on no company. I want to see this company fail, that company fail. I think any company, no matter what genre it is, can lose the bullshit and focus on business, like I said, and treat people like human beings. Be respectful. But at the same time, man, dealing with people is just different. People have all these anger issues and they always want to see a company fail. It's like, no matter what we watch, there's some of everything. Like I used to always watch, I watch football, I watch basketball. I can't tell you the last football and basketball game I watched. I used to like the Spurs. Since the Spurs fell off, it was just like, in football it was the Raiders, and it was just, so, and like I said, I can't say I'm a fan. I'm not anybody's fan. I just respect and I appreciate things. I'm not a fan of anybody's. You understand? I'm not no starstruck person. You're just another human being to me. You understand what I mean? That's it. But out of everything, pro wrestling is something that even if you don't watch it for a while, I've always, let me see what's going on. You understand what I mean? And the fact that we have, look, even if you choose, okay, I only watch this, okay, fine. You don't have to hate on another company or want to see another company's demise just because you don't watch that. You don't watch them, and that's what we have too much of. A bunch of ignorant, hateful, spiteful, mean-spirited people over nothing. So people like that are not fans of anybody's either. You just want to see what you want to see. If professional wrestling died and went away tomorrow, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, like for damn sure. But at the same time, I'm not sitting up here wanting to see any one of these companies go out of business or wanting to, So for these people that sit up here, every time you see somebody that has some potential or has some skill, oh, they should go to WWE. It's always just they should go to WWE, and they choose to go somewhere else. And all of a sudden they're stupid, they're foolish. Oh, they should have did this and that. Hey guys, she might have a bigger ass than your woman. Don't mean that the grass is greener. She might have bigger titties than your woman. She might, yeah, it's not until you go over there and realize I had a good woman and I ran over there because I thought the grass was greener to find out that this one is worse than the one I'm with. I'm telling you guys, everybody's not going to have the same fortune. Don't think that those 3 letters, WWE, guarantees, oh, this person instant success. No. You remember Maven that used to be, he was in that Tough Enough show. He was a part of the WWE. Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes of his YouTube show. And he talked about the money that they make and how it's not what people think. And even listening to the wrestlers themselves, they tell you that, man. It's like how it's not what you think. And we know if you've been watching wrestling for years, wrestlers have always told you how they travel up and down the road, slept in their car, did whatever they had to get to these shows, and they wasn't making much money. Everybody doesn't make big money in wrestling, man. So when you get these people on your roster, they expect you to perform at a certain level. And, once again, you have to put people in certain situations. No different from how they look. You saw Sting in cinematic matches. You saw Sting in the matches with Darby. Darby did the bulk of the crazy shit. Sting was doing crazy shit here and there. But Sting is 60-something years old. So you're not going to put Sting in a long one-on-one match or a tag, even if but Sting was holding his own, man. He was holding his own. So what I'm saying is, what Sting can't do anymore didn't matter, because what he could do, he was still impressive and still did it the same way. But you could see, yeah, of course he's not as fast, doesn't jump as high as he used to. Of course, he's not the same guy. But the motherfucker still had it, man. and so that's what I'm saying. You have to know how to put wrestlers in the right matches. And that's every company. That's every company. And that's why when you see a wrestler not make it, it's not always because they didn't know, because they weren't good. No, it's not so. It's because the company didn't know how to use them. And they probably felt more like what they wanted wasn't going to really get over with the fans the way they wanted it to. Or whatever, or even being spiteful. There was a time when the fans was booing everybody because they wanted to see Bryan Danielson and they wanted to see Roman Reigns as champions in the WWE. And the WWE took their time. They screwed Bryan Danielson pretty much, and they gave Roman Reigns wind up, turning him around. And they used to clearly say the 2 best guys, like whatever Moxley's name used to be, and Seth Rollins, they were the 2 better ones. Roman's just big, but he can't really wrestle. Isn't it funny? Now Seth is still there, but isn't it funny how Roman Reigns became so much bigger than Seth Rollins over here in the WWE? And isn't it funny that Moxley came over here in AEW? And really, when you look at who the very top guy in AEW, well, for me, I like that setup better. See, old school guys would say, oh, nah, you supposed to have 3 top good guys and 3 top bad guys. Yeah, that's the way they did it for years, a long time ago. But that's also what made wrestling kind of corny and made it repetitive, because you really knew who was going to win. So I like it better with this mystery, when it's like, okay, these guys are at the top, but anybody on this roster on any given night, man, can pretty much pull off a so-called upset or win. Man, it's not even real fighting. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why I say people put too much emphasis on professional wrestling, because it's a freaking act. It's not even real, man. So when you look at who's who in the ring, you look at how they perform in the ring, what type of moves, shit they do, their cadence, how they carry themselves and their character, all that stuff, and you look at it and you like who you like, man. But at the end of the day, guess what? Who's going to win is who they want to win. But, hopefully for Jade, things work out for her. But like I said, man, things happen the way they do. And Jade has some, she got to get in there and either she's going to do this WWE style or she's not. And the thing about it, all those moves that they're doing, all these, picking people up, slamming each other on top of people, and the double team moves and all that. See, they're focused too much on that type of shit. Because when you for Jade, I don't think Jade need to be in a damn team. I think Jade need to be solo on her own. I just feel like what they're doing, it's not going to work for her until she feels comfortable, and that's what we're just going to have to wait and see. Anyway, I'm tired of talking about this. That's all I got for y'all right now. God damn, I didn't mean to go this long, but hey, it is what it is, y'all. Be safe. Enjoy your day, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Hey, turn this shit on while you cleaning your house. Right? While you in there cleaning up your house and doing whatever. Turn this shit on and listen to it. That's all. Give y'all something to think about. Enough talk. Catch y'all later.